Trigger warning here. If you're easily triggered by this stuff, don't watch. Thanks.
Fear of night sky. This is going to sound so strange, but I feel very uncomfortable whenever I look up at the night sky directly. It feels like there is something watching or monitoring me. It's an odd one because the second I see something else in the sky, like a plane or a helicopter, then I feel a little better. It started one evening a few years ago. I was out on a walk in the nighttime. Due to light pollution, you can't really see many stars in my area, but one just stuck out to me. It looked like it was moving and, well, following me. I continued walking, but every time I looked up, it was there. It didn't even look like a normal star, more like a speck of dust on the sky. I have felt uncomfortable looking up at the stars ever since that evening. Any suggestions on what this might be?
Why am I scared of Jupiter, but only when it's an image of the night sky if Jupiter was in place of the moon? One day I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw a video that showed pictures of the night sky if different planets were as close to Earth as the moon, and I was fine. Saturn made me a little bit uneasy, but I was still fine. But Jupiter, on the other hand, made me scared. At first I thought I had megalophobia, but it's not just large objects that make me scared. Then I thought it might be muxiphobia, but I can look at any picture of Jupiter and be fine. It's only the image of Jupiter as close as the moon that scares me, and I don't understand why.
Hello, I have Casadastraphobia as well as many other phobias. I have a part-time job and I go to school part-time. I was doing well for a few months before I slowly couldn't walk to the door of my workplace. Even thinking about the sky while sitting in my bed typing, this freaks me out. I have to have coworkers walk me to and from my car. I have to hold on to them at this point. People help. Today I had to have my friend and a Walmart employee walk me to my car. I can't do this anymore. Even the comfort of people is starting to not work. What should I do? I need an education. I can get that online. I need a job, but I can't find one online. What should I do? I don't want to lose my job, but every day I feel closer to my breaking point. I've tried a few new medicines. I've tried therapy. I'm currently looking for a new therapist. I feel like I'm getting worse with each passing day. I don't want to live on disability, but honestly, I don't think that's even an option.
Apeirophobia, my fear of infinity and the afterlife. I have a reoccurring and horrible fear of the afterlife. It's caused me to become careless with my own life because I can't ignore the fear. It started about a year ago, slowly faded as I was able to open up a little bit and ignore it by distracting myself, and now it's back. Even before that, I had small panic attacks over it, but nothing too long-lasting up until now. I consider myself a generally happy person. People perceive me as such, and I feel confident in myself. It gets much more difficult to be this way when my fear overcomes me. I can't think about anything else but the fact that I only get one try to do all of this, and one mistake could take my chance away for the rest of eternity. That mortifies me. I can always respond to every other worry I have with, "Worrying never solved anything, so just work through it," or, "You fear what you don't even know, just let the anxiety go and you'll understand it when you get to that point." But I can't with this. It's difficult for me to sleep or do anything productive, and I am submerged in despair because of it. I'm definitely on the younger side. I don't know why I'm worrying about something that may not even occur for decades on. But the reminder of how short and fragile life is doesn't alleviate the stress whatsoever. I'm wasting time worrying about it, but I don't know what else to do. I just want to be happier and focus on the things that make my life feel important again. But even those things I'm starting to lose touch with due to my phobia. I don't fear death. While it is worrisome, I don't think I can fathom it enough to be scared of it. I'm just scared because I don't know what comes after. If there is an afterlife, I will be stuck there forever without a time limit to it. If there's nothing, I'm stuck in nothingness forever. It's the aspect of doing the same thing forever. I don't know what I'm hoping for because either option makes me incredibly anxious and upset. The random idea that your conscious will just be stuck on Earth forever is probably the worst. If anyone knows how to cope with this, it would be much appreciated.
It's starting to ruin my life. I find difficulties in sleeping, eating, and functioning on my own as a now new adult, 18. The fear is actually more so directed towards other people dying rather than myself, but still both. I don't know how I'm going to manage this in my further adult life because I still live at home. I have to get up 2 times a night to check all members of my family are breathing, and if I can't hear them, I will literally shake them and then pretend to be sleepwalking to avoid embarrassment. I cannot have food cooked by other people in fear of poisoning, and my fear of germs is so insane I actually won't go into it, but it often prevents me from leaving the house. Or if I do, I'll wear a mask like one of those COVID weirdos. I examine every family member's meal in front of them and have to make sure I watch them eat in case they choke. I have Life 360 with them all so I can track if anything happens. On top of that, I have to send each of them a message at least 3 times daily to see if they're okay, and will spam call if I don't get a response in less than 30 minutes. I have OCD and gay D, which is probably a big explanation for it all. But having a diagnosis doesn't cure me. What will? How do I get past this to be able to actually live like a normal person? I'm crippled with overthinking and anxiety 24/7, like a schizo rocking back and forth in the corner.
Anyone suffer from stygiophobia, fear of hell. If anyone suffers from a fear of eternal conscious torment in hell, I, a former stygiophobe myself, have just written a book that might give you a measure of relief. I'm offering the formatted manuscript via email for free to anyone who private messages me their email address requesting it.
No, that wasn't just a word from our sponsor. If anyone out there is actually interested, here's where you'll want to send that DM to. Now let's move right along.
I think I have a phobia to Christianity, as title says. I think I'm genuinely scared of Christianity. This is a problem because I am friends with Christians and my boyfriend was converted. I've tried getting over it, but can't, it seems. I think it started when I was a kid. I, for some reason, had the mindset of a conservative Christian. When I found out I was gay, it was traumatic because I was terrified of going to hell. Years later, and people in my school tell me I'm going to hell, how I'm sinful, etc. People on the internet saying how awful I am for being myself. So eventually grew spiteful. Headache, how to treat this. I honestly don't know if I want to. I just don't want to feel this spitefulness for the people I love.
A little while later,
Why was I downvoted? I don't hate Christians. I have a problem with trust and asking for help/advice. I have a religious trauma I want to concur.
if I may just interject a little advice, if you are offended by this guy's phobia, I seriously don't think that downvoting his plea for help is really going to help him think any better of you, but that's just me.
I don't feel like this every night, but some nights. And tonight I feel like I'm dying every time I start falling asleep and I wake up again from fright. Can anyone help?
What is this phobia? I have a fear of floating balloons, not balloons popping or anything, tall buildings or seeing people up high, the sky, outer space, in some contexts, etc. Thoughts? The biggest problem I have is with balloons. It's not globophobia. I'm not afraid of balloons popping or anything to do with their texture or smell, but I feel sick just thinking about floating balloons, and seeing a balloon floating near me makes my hands tingle and makes me nauseous and dizzy. Seeing a balloon float away doesn't necessarily cause a panic attack, like I know a lot of phobias do, but it fills me with a sense of impending doom and dread, like I'm going to die and life has no meaning and the end is upon us. I also get varying degrees of this feeling when I look up at a tall building, specifically if I see a person up high. I don't necessarily get this feeling when I am up high, though. Another thing to note, when I was a kid, I frequently had dreams about floating and or flying, and a lot of nightmares about just floating up endlessly through my ceiling and into the sky. I get a lot of sleep paralysis where it feels like my soul is being sucked out of me and or my body is being possessed, and the panic I feel related to balloons reminds me of that feeling. Is this like a gravity thing? Heights, the sky universe? Hyperventilating as I write this LOL. Also, out of curiosity, anyone here into that Freudian dream interpretation stuff and want to share some theories about what these fears mean symbolically?
Not sure what this is. I'm not sure if this is a phobia or something else, but every time I think about anything space related, including stars, planets, or other galaxies, I start to have only what I can describe as a panic attack. My breath becomes hard to catch. I get lightheaded, and I feel as though my feet aren't touching the floor anymore. It's odd because I used to be very interested in space and other related stuff, and this only started around a year ago. I think the first time was when I was watching a video about Dyson spheres, and that feeling set it. And now every time I think about anything above our atmosphere, it feels like I'm suffocating. If anyone knows what this is, it would be appreciated.
Astrophobia/interview requests. Hey everyone. So, as the title says, I have astrophobia. Specifically mine is a fear of aliens which came about after a psychotic episode caused by taking medication that should not have been prescribed to me. I am now writing an article about people with niche or lesser-known phobias and was wondering if anybody on here would be up for discussing their phobia with me. The article itself is investigating why different phobias come about and how people who suffer from rare phobias manage their anxiety and stress. I would appreciate any help and can link some of my previous journalism work in the comments section. Best wishes.
What is this, like Shameless Plug Day? Well, if you're interested, here's her handle, and guess what? Here's that link to her previous work, too. It's an article published on Vox, and I guess if Stacy Bush's real name is Jude Wiley, she could be legit. But I'll let you be your own judge on that. For now, I've got to wrap this up, but I know if you've hung around this long, you'll probably stick around for the next video too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. Cheers.